was good. It was good. Is this how they're supposed to end? Just long day, hot day. The rain and so forth, that made a hot and humid day, I'm sure, for everybody. But it makes it that much more rewarding, and it makes it feel good when you get to drink a beer in Victory Lane too. So that was good. But we just had a solid day. I mean, pit stops were solid, strategy was solid. Came down towards the last stop there, and I was a little nervous we were going to be tight on fuel, or I should say Paul was, and I was nervous for him a little bit. And, it worked out. Those green white checkers definitely held us tight. But, then you start to get to those closing laps, and you just know you got to be in the top 4 or 5 to have a shot at it. Everybody on the team, Joey Meyer, my spotter, did a great job of keeping us out of trouble and keeping us in that top group, knowing where the runs were and knowing how to fend them off one at a time. Our car was a little bit faster than what we had at Daytona, which I thought was key to being able to run up front. Just everything came together. Obviously, I had some good fortune at the end with having Kyle lined up behind me, who gave me a great push, helped put us in position, and then we just closed at the end. So, great day.
Also joining Brad and Roger is Paul Wolf, crew chief of the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge. Paul, talk to us a little bit about your thoughts being part of such a historic event here with this team this weekend.
Yeah, it was obviously a big win for everybody on the Miller Lite team. Coming into the weekend, we probably had a different approach than what we ended up racing today with the hot temperatures, and seems like with this aero package, the cars definitely moved around a lot and were unstable when you got in the big packs. We kind of found that on Friday, and Brad wasn't real happy with our car, and so we made some changes for today to try to make the car more drivable in the bigger packs, and maybe not necessarily looking for the all-out speed, but overall I think we kind of had both today. It was encouraging to see how strong our car was, and I know the engine shop's working hard, and they felt like they were able to give us some more power for this weekend, as well as everybody in the aero department. This is kind of these plate races are kind of their deal. It's a lot of aero and motor and staying out of trouble. So a lot of hard work that's been going on back there, and it seems like we've kind of put it all together today, and a great strategy as well as some great calculations by our race engineer, Brian Wilson.
We will open it up for questions. We'll take a few questions down here in the media center, then take it up top to the press box. We'll start over here with Ed.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Matt Kenseth left here a while ago, kind of implying that you'd made him feel a little bit stupid, not dragging his brake and getting by him. Then Kyle Busch thought he screwed up, getting into 3, that he disconnected with you. And I believe you said you did have a move for him. And then you had a car on a while ago, said as far as he was concerned, you drove just about a perfect race. When you leave 2 drivers like that, feeling flat-footed, and you please your car owner that much, could you just go through each of those elements, what you did to Matt, what you did to Kyle, and what you feel about what Roger had to say?
Well, that's good. That means I'm not going to get fired, right?
Not this week.
Not this week. That's my first thought. Hell, it's my job to be good, I mean, that's what I get paid for. I don't get paid to suck at this. If I did, I'm not driving for the right guy. This guy's won all these races over here, and we're trying real hard to get that first Cup championship, and we're doing the right things. I felt really good about the move. We were able to pull on Matt. I was a little surprised that him and the 16 didn't gang up a little more full force than what they did. And only he knows the answer to that, so I'm not going to speculate on what that was. But, then Kyle just, I just knew the move I wanted to make and made it into 3, and it disconnected us. And that was the key right there. Once we got that air bubble in between the 2 cars, it was going to take 2 or 3 laps for him to pop that. And we only had to go half a lap or not even quite that. So, you got to have a plan, and you got to have the moves ready. And we were fortunate to have a car and a team that put me in position to execute my job. But those other 2 things come first. You got to have a car, and you got to have a team to get in those positions. And then as a driver, you got to close the deal. And we did all 3 today. And that's a testament to Roger and Paul and everybody at Penske Racing that give us great cars. So it takes the total combination, and it don't matter what driver you had. You put them in the worst car and you give them bad pitch strategy and bad bad things like that. You're not going to win races. So It takes a team to win in Cup.
Okay, we'll take our next question over here from Don.
I think he kind of asked that. This is Don Coble from Morris News Service. Were you surprised that Matt would make such a, even he admitted, such a fundamental mistake he said he just didn't pay attention for just a split second.
Yeah, no.
And he looked up, and all of a sudden, Greg's
things
not
happen,
there.
man. You're driving, you're looking out. You gotta look out the windshield and see what's in front of you, and you look back, and next thing you know, that split second's gone by. I mean, hell, you're going 200 mile an hour. You know how many feet per second that is, and you look out the windshield for a second, and you've covered almost a football field, and it only takes that little amount of time to break the two cars apart, form that air bubble that I was talking about, and then you're done, and your race is over. So you got to manage all those things, and there's a lot going on. And again, I don't want to speculate for what happened there with Greg and Matt, but that is kind of what it is, and it worked out in our favor. So, like I said, I'm proud of my team.
Okay, we'll take our next question from George Diaz over to the right. George, raise your hand.
Yeah, George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel. Brad, were you pretty confident that you could make the move to get to the front, or did you think it might take a couple of other factors to come into play for you to be able to get to the front?
Well, I felt pretty good having Kyle behind me. I knew he was a good pusher. Once I saw the 16 and 17 separate, I knew this was our race. It was just a matter of if there was another tandem behind us, which I haven't seen the replay to know if there was or not, but it all worked out from there. So, I mean, at Talladega, you don't take anything for granted. I mean, not a thing, because you don't know what's going to happen, and I didn't take for granted that we had this race won, no.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Mike Hembry.
Mike Hembry, Speed.com. Brad, you and Bush moved to the front pretty quickly there, and you said you already had an idea of what you wanted to try to do. But did you have a concern that Kyle would do something before you had a chance to try something?
No, I felt pretty confident he was going to make his move through the tri-oval. Probably next time he won't, but that's okay. Those are the kind of moves, similar to the move I made here in 09, that you only get one shot to make them, and everybody wises up on them. And from there, everybody knows how to make it work. I'm sure everybody will wise up on it from here, and they'll make their moves earlier, which will change the racing again. So it's just the evolution, and you get one shot to be that guy that helps to evolve it. And we had the opportunity to do that today, and that was part of what helped us win the race.
Next question will come from Jenna.
Jennifer, AP. Brad, so the guy in the lead is not supposed to win these races. You said in Victory Lane that you had thought about it a lot and you dreamed about it.
Yeah.
I guess, can you sort of take us through that? Is that you sitting alone in your motorhome at night, plotting out this scenario?
It's long nights on them buses, Jenna. Unless you have somebody to make them not long nights, and I'm happily single, so I get asked that a lot, so I'll just go ahead and clear the record.
So I was wondering, how were you so confident it would work? And then after that, if you could talk about what happened with you and Kurt. On the
Sure. Well, let's start with Kurt, because I want to run through that real quick, and certainly I want to apologize for that. He ran a great race, and he's been a great friend of mine over the last few years, and really helped me get to where I'm at here today. So the last thing I want to do is see him go through a situation where we had a shot at winning and to wherever he ended up finishing, which I'm sure was not indicative of how quality of a race he ran. So I want to go ahead and say that first. And basically, I wanted to make a move. We had I think it was Kyle and maybe the 22 or somebody of that nature. I couldn't tell who it was that was pushing them. And they had a pretty good run going on us. I was running third at the time, and it was pretty obvious that they were going to swallow us up. And with 4 to go, if you get swallowed up, you're not going to recover from that. So I knew that I had to get to Kurt and go. We had to go before we got swallowed. I got to Kurt and tried to push him, and he tried staying in line. He didn't want to go. He probably didn't know what was going on behind him, which is natural. And he probably couldn't see what I could see. So when he decided not to go, I tried to force him to go. And it became evident in the tri-oval that wasn't what he wanted to do, and I should have let him go instead of wrecking him. Instead, I got a little aggressive and tried to force him to go. And when he decided to go, it was right where the the track has a transition. He hit that transition from the bottom lane to the second lane, and it just hooked his car and turned it. You know, I had let him go even right before he spun out. It's just you can't cross that line or that transition when a guy has pushed you, because, you know, the rear of the car and the dynamics of the car have changed. So, you know, that it was just a combination of events that were unfortunate, and I hated to see them happen.